Hey everybody, some Gadget Guy here, and we've got a fun one today because we are talking about none other than the Samsung Galaxy S5 Active on AT&T. And this ain't no unboxing, son. We want to talk about the phone. All right, for some reason, some of you actually care what's inside the box besides the phone. You get a charger, you get some headphones, which are probably okay, I don't know, and then a bunch of little pieces of paper that you're not gonna read anyway. I don't understand why we put so much stock into unboxings. Yes, folks, this is the Galaxy S5 Active. Samsung continuing their experiment with ruggedizing their already popular Galaxy series of phones. And out of their entire lineup this year, the Active is actually the phone I've been most excited to try out. Now, I've come to a realization about Samsung specifically and smartphones in general. Personally, I'm not a big fan of the all-rounder experience. I like it when companies tackle one specific aspect of a device, a gadget, an experience, and make sure that they hone it better than anyone else on the market. Like LG delivering insane battery life on the G2 and giving us a curved, flexible screen on the G Flex. HTC giving us all kinds of crazy phones with front-firing speakers. But that Nokia camera bump though, and that's when it struck me. Samsung is most exciting when they too take some risks. Ultimately, my favorite Samsung devices have been those phones which have been partially ruggedized or waterproof, like my Rugby Pro. And this still sees a lot of action from me as my workout / hiking / camping phone. But no longer, because now we have the Galaxy S5 Active, and this takes Samsung's Galaxy S line up to a much more confidence-inspiring plateau. Compared to the regular Galaxy S5, we have the same display, the same AMOLED display, the same battery life. We've got all of the same features in the heart rate monitor, the IR blasters to use this as a remote control, the same camera module, which is a really big deal. And I've already shot UHD video with the Galaxy S5 Active. You can check it out on this channel. Did a whole day down in Santa Monica, just, soaking up the sun, lying on the beach, and then catching some waves. Literally, I dunked this under a wave for you guys. These phones are far more alike than the S4 and S4 Active were. And that largely comes down to the fact that the regular Galaxy S5 is already IP67 dust and water resistant. So Samsung really didn't need to reinvent the wheel to bring most of that ruggedness to the S5 Active. Thanks to the extra plastic found on the corners of the device, and then this subtle ridge which runs along the outer bezel on the front face, not only is the S5 Active IP67 dust and water resistant, but Samsung is also certified at mil-spec 810G for drop and shock resistance. What's changed over the normal Galaxy S5 is we no longer have a fingerprint scanner on the home button, which honestly, I'm not that sad to give up. I know a lot of you folks out there like the fingerprint scanner, even my wife, she really likes the fingerprint scanner on her Galaxy S5, but it's never worked consistently for me. And instead of capacitive buttons bridging that home button, we now have dedicated hardware buttons bridging that home button, which I kind of dig. I like the clicky action of a good button. And if you're gonna put one hardware button down at the bottom, I kind of like the consistency of having all three buttons be hardware buttons. Plus, that also helps a little bit when the screen's wet, because capacitive screens kind of wig out when they're underwater. One change I find very interesting, Samsung started using a micro USB 3 port on the Galaxy S5, but the Galaxy S5 Active only has a micro USB 2 port. I find that to be an odd compromise to make if Samsung really is on board the next generation of their phones using micro USB 3. Well, while you lose out on that fingerprint scanner and that USB 3 port, you do gain an additional hardware button. And you guys know how much I love dedicated hardware buttons. Above the volume rocker on the S5 Active is a little activity button. And pushing that takes you to an activity zone, which gives you all kinds of cool features for you outdoorsy adventure types. Gives you quick access to things like a barometer, a compass, a stopwatch, even a flashlight with variable brightness control. And you can map an additional feature to long pressing this activity button, but the default takes you to the camera, and I'm pretty much fine with that. I've been playing with this phone for a couple days now, and I think it's also really important to note that everything about how this phone seals, the backplate, how it snaps into place, the USB port cover, how it clicks into place, feels much sturdier and much more rugged than any other Samsung I've used to date. And the S5 Active kind of makes the port cover on the regular S5 feel kind of flimsy. But all in all, that's one of the reasons why I've been so excited for this phone. At its core, it's a Galaxy S5. You know what to expect in terms of performance. You know what to expect in terms of hardware features and software gimmicks. But it's Samsung focusing on one aspect of the experience and making it as good as they can. So while I've enjoyed my time with the regular Galaxy S5, S5, I still have to say I'm not the biggest fan of Samsung's regular phones. But taking the Active out into the field, out on a hike, down to the beach, this phone's making me a little bit more excited to play in the Samsung ecosystem. Though I would like to talk to someone at Samsung about who thought it was a good idea to put camouflage on the back of their phone. Because if I'm an outdoorsy, woodsy kind of guy and I drop my phone in a bush, how am I ever gonna find it if it's camouflage? I mean, it blends in with its surroundings. It's the point of camouflage. So folks, I'm gonna spend a little time with the Galaxy S5 Active, using it as my daily Android driver to see how I like the experience. I'll report back in a little bit with a long-term review on the S5 Active, and I'll probably go out and play with a few other video opportunities, seeing as how we've got a ruggedized, waterproofed, somewhat drop-resistant phone that can shoot UHD video. Definitely check out my S5 camera reviews and my S5 Active video walk if you want to see how the camera quality compares to some of the other smartphones that we've tested. As always, folks, thanks so much for watching my videos, sharing my videos, subscribing to my channel, dropping me all those amazing comments down below my videos. I've always loved the discussion we get into. Hit that thumbs up button, and I will catch you all on the next review.